Welcome to Capital City News, your source for Salt Lake City news and information. I'm your host, Brian Young from SLC TV, reporting in from Big Cottonwood Canyon. Our interview this week is with Patrick Nelson, Salt Lake City's Watershed Program Manager. Our History Minute is about the Oregon Short Line Railroad. The council's had a couple weeks off, so we're skipping our legislative update and moving right into our look-backs, and then we're going to take a look ahead.
Along with the American Institute of Architects Utah chapter and the Community Development Corporation of Utah, the city launched the Empowered Living Design Competition, inviting folks to submit their designs for small residences that could help address the city's affordable housing shortage. Participants are invited to submit a design for a standalone home or a cluster of small cottages, also known as tiny homes, in a planned development or an accessory dwelling unit on a lot with a primary residence. Applicants must register by September 10th, and submissions are due by October 29th. For more information about the registration, submission, and judging process, visit the website shown on screen. Salt Lake City's Call to Haul program has undergone an overhaul. Residents will now be able to schedule 2 collections per year, one for bulky items, such as old furniture and appliances, and one for yard waste up to 24 inches in diameter. They've also added neighborhood group scheduling. Up to 20 households can now schedule a neighborhood cleanup event for either bulky items or green waste. Full details, instructions, and restrictions for the program are available at www.slcgreen.com/C2H. Despite the recent rains, water is still in short supply in Salt Lake City, and we all need to do our part to save water. Do your best to conserve water where you can. Any water saved is water earned. Learn more about saving water at slc.gov/utilities/conservation. The Delta variant is increasing COVID numbers across the state, and Salt Lake City is once again a high transmission area. It's more important than ever that you get your vaccination, wear a mask, and keep socially distant wherever possible. Despite what some might tell you, things are not back to normal. For more information on where to get your vaccine, visit the county vaccination website.
Thanks to the Funding Our Future bond, road construction continues in Salt Lake City at a frenzied pace. We'll be highlighting 1st South and 9th East this week, so check it out.
Utility work is happening in the intersection of 100 South and University Street. This means access will be limited north and south. We recommend using alternate routes. Waterline installation is happening near 1000 East. Please obey all no parking signs to avoid towing. We are currently removing the old asphalt on 900 East from 2700 South to 2100 South. There will be up to a 6-inch drop-off from the gutter to the surface of the road, so be careful. Temporary ramps will be installed to maintain property and business access. We appreciate your patience during the 900 East reconstruction and are looking forward to seeing the final results in the fall.
To learn more about these projects or any other road construction projects going on in Salt Lake City, be sure to visit slc.gov/bondmap. Our interview this week is with Patrick Nelson. He's Salt Lake City's Watershed Program Manager. I spoke to him about the importance of his job, which is to make sure our watershed stays clean.
And really what the Watershed Program does is it works. We have a big team. We work to protect the drinking water supply before it hits our treatment plants. So we do a lot of education, we do a lot of outreach, we do a lot of development review, recreation management, but really the whole intent is to protect public health and protect drinking water supply. The city gets about 60% of its water supply from 4 canyons, starting from north to south: City Creek, Parley's Canyon, Big Cottonwood Canyon, and Little Cottonwood Canyon. And each of them have an associated treatment plant. So all the land that those canyons encompass, our program focuses outside of city boundaries. So we work a lot with the Forest Service and Salt Lake County and all sorts of different other agencies out there. In the last 5 years, there's been an extraordinary amount of growth in our watershed canyons. A lot of people are moving to Utah to enjoy the outdoors, which just happen to be some of our watershed canyons. The access is phenomenal. But what we're finding is a lot of people, we haven't reached a lot of these new people to educate them on what we need their help with and how to keep the canyons clean and how to keep the water supply protected for public health purposes. So we launched a campaign with our partners to raise the word on where their drinking water comes from, what we need their help in doing, and how they can help keep it pure. So we've been working with the Forest Service and the ski resorts and the county to get the word out to this new recreating public, because with the pandemic, everybody's gone outside. There was nothing else to do. So we're seeing an explosion of use, full parking lots above and beyond what was full before in areas we had never anticipated. So we have a lot of new friends in the watershed, and we have a lot of education to reach out to folks. Some folks know, it's just kind of refining that message and helping them understand why. The first thing we like to know is folks know is where your water comes from. If you live in Sandy, Cottonwood Heights, Mill Creek City, Salt Lake City, and some other places in the valley, you get your water from these watershed canyons. And so knowing where your water comes from is just one. We just want folks to know this is drinking water supply. Number two is the rules are scientifically backed. They're here for a reason. We're not here to be a wet blanket committee and tell you to keep your family member, your dog home, or don't go swimming on a hot summer day. Those rules are in place for a reason. And three, we need all the help that we can get. This is a really unique watershed. Across the nation, a lot of the water supplies are just shut down. You can't go in them, you can't enjoy them, and here we have millions of people a year, more visitation than Yellowstone National Park, and you get to come up here. If you want to fish, you can fish. If you want to bike, you can do that. You can go skiing, you can go hiking, climbing. I'm missing any of the other things that folks do, but it's a really special place, so we need all the help we can get keeping it clean. So for anybody who wants to learn more about the watershed and what the Watershed Division does or where their drinking water supply comes from, you can go to keepitpure.com and it'll take you to the Watershed website.
Now it's time for our History Minute. The Oregon Short Line Railroad was an important line in the history of rail, coming right through Salt Lake City. Established in 1881 as a subsidiary of the Union Pacific Company, it was designed to offer the shortest route between Oregon and Wyoming. An office was established for the railway in Salt Lake City, one of the major stopping points in the Oregon Short Line. The office stood on the west side of West Temple, just south of 2nd South, and was the repository of all the business records and offices for the Oregon Short Line workers in Salt Lake City. Unfortunately, the basement was also a storage facility for a number of violent chemicals. In the small hours of the morning of September 10, 1901, as the nation waited for news about the health of President William McKinley, who'd been shot just 4 days earlier, the chemicals in the basement of the Oregon Short Line building exploded, engulfing the entire building in flames. The Salt Lake City Fire Department raced to douse them. 4 firefighters got injured in the process. They were able to save the surrounding buildings, but the Oregon Short Line Railroad office was destroyed, and plans for a new rail line straight to Los Angeles were scrapped and never resumed. The Oregon Short Line operated under that name until 1987, when it was merged completely into the Union Pacific Railroad. That's it for another episode of Capital City News. Remember, the best way to stay informed is to stay engaged. You can do that by following us on social media at SLC.gov, by subscribing to us on YouTube, and by watching us on Channel 17. So, reporting from Big Cottonwood Canyon, I'm Brian Young.